M1 Macs are breaking. Since mid-2023, a significant number of M1 iMac users have reported screen degradation, resulting in a pattern of horizontal lines appearing across their displays. The issue typically crops up after a couple years of use, meaning that the devices are out of warranty. Apple has yet to acknowledge the problem, though one user reported that the technician they went to blamed the issue on a flex cable powering the LCD burning out because it has to sustain voltage of about 50 volts at the screen's highest brightness setting. Due to how the devices are constructed, fixing this issue typically means replacing the whole screen at a cost of around $600 to $700. It is currently unclear whether Apple has fixed the issue in more recent generations of iMac. And our discussion question here is, and this is one that I kind of wrote, is does Apple get an adequate amount of journalistic scrutiny? Because it seems like in the last 20 years, they have gone from being covered by professional journalists to still being covered by professional journalists, but also having cultivated a following of fans.
I think professional journalism I think this is almost a different conversation, and it's that a lot of professional journalism is dying.
But Apple is
not money in it anymore.
Apple almost uniquely plays the game so well, at least in the tech space, of the sort of the praise for access model. If you not only, it's not even as simple as if you say the right things about Apple, you'll get invited to the Steve Jobs Theater and you'll attend the keynotes or whatever. It's not that simple.
Yeah.
You have to not only say the right things, you have to be the right things. You have to what's the word I'm looking for? You almost have to have the right aura. You have to.
That is a trend. That is very good. Good job. You've communicated to the young.
You have to personify the ideal Apple customer.
There you go.
Is what you have to do. And I almost wonder if that's detrimental for Apple.
Puff them.
In the long term. I don't know if they get a lot of criticism, but I like seeing all the better things about iOS 18, right? Seeing how much better it is. I don't know if it makes me think that they have heard all the things that they're supposed to be doing and then just weren't doing it, or if they were shut off from it and are finally hearing it. Like, I don't know what it is exactly that made them sort of ignore these obvious, egregious, glaring issues for so long, like not being able to rearrange your icons on your home screen, stuff like that.
Yeah, but people were pointing that issue out even when there was more negative journalism.
They were, but were those voices powerful enough, I guess is the question.
They're pretty loud.
Is Apple under enough scrutiny? But are they loud in the right places? Remember, you're not necessarily reading a random discussion forum on Mac rumors if you're a decision maker at Apple. Like the people with access, the people who can actually talk directly to decision makers, are they putting the right amount of pressure on them? Because like I'm looking at this screen issue, right? When Asus didn't acknowledge the SD card problem with the Ally, we weren't the only ones having meetings with top level executives basically saying, you guys need to do this.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody holds that kind of power over Apple, and I don't think Apple wants that.
Oh, they definitely don't.
But will that be damaging to them in the longer term is the question that I'm asking.
I have a hard time believing, honestly, any company wants that. I feel like most companies will comply with that to try to soften the blow.
I actually disagree. And no company is monolithic, but there are certainly ones that I've encountered that value criticism.
Okay.
At a high level.
I think what I was pointing out was the public nature of a lot of the criticism that happened around Asus. I don't think anybody wants that.
No, I don't think anybody wants a media firestorm necessarily. Yeah. But I think that... I do definitely think there are companies that really want
measured, good, accurate, constructive criticism. Definitely. There are quite a few companies that like...
I don't know if Apple does
pay money to have that, let alone just want it.
CMD Carini says, who says Apple isn't adequately addressing the issue? Well, they haven't acknowledged it. That's step one. of addressing the issue. And
They
Apple has a
also
long
tend
history
to
of
not,
they have a long history of ignoring things so hard, hoping that they'll go away, only to finally acknowledge them only if they get enough backlash. Butterfly keyboard, for example, bumpgate on the older MacBooks. Like this is not a new thing. Let's not pretend. You're holding it wrong. Yeah, exactly. Vertig 1.